Well, we have two new things from our friends at Hunkydory, and they're called a Crafty stash. Now, that was a new term to me, but they are just packed full of goodies. So we have Cottage Garden, and we have Peacock Paradise. And wait until you see the fun things that Heidi has done. In fact, this is one of the projects, and you can see she's added a doily, she's distressed it, and this is the slimline cards and just gorgeous. So won't you please come play with us? Now, before we get into these, let me just show you. I think I'll do Cottage Garden first, and then I'll pause and do the Peacock Paradise second. So let me show you. You're going to get 42 craft packed pages is what they're telling us. And you're going to get foiled die cut pieces. That's what we expect from Hunkydory. All the ones I'm showing you, you're going to get 2 of them. So how pretty is that? So there's one, there's another one with birds and kittens and puppies and dragonflies. You can't go wrong with that. Some cottages. They also have greetings on them. And then there's also this one, and which we're going to use, and this one that has some greetings and so forth, some borders, and then this one that we're going to use on that first card. Then you get inserts, so that's nice. You're going to get 2 each of the inserts. Now, the inserts are a ghosted back image, and they're very, very useful. In fact, you can use them on the front of cards. There are also papers, and these are single-sided. And in the inserts, there are some greetings. So you can cut those out. You get 4 per sheet, as you can see. And then we have some cutout sheets as well as paper. So these are double-sided. So if you don't want to cut those out, you're not missing anything because you've got that on the other side. Isn't that pretty? Got that, got this. We've got these, like I said, these are the papers and the cutouts. And then in addition, I forgot to tell you that this is another sheet of cutouts. This is another of the inserts, which we are going to be using. And there is another of the cutouts, which again has the paper on the back. So that is what you're getting. And on the papers and the cutouts, you're going to get 3 of each of those. So 2 or 3, which just makes a wonderful collection. Now, that's a lot to kind of assimilate, especially as I'm going through it so quickly. So we're just going to stay with the Cottage Garden for right now. And I'm going to show you the first 2 cards that Heidi has done. And I actually did show you one of them already. So we'll get in close to this. And as I said, this is using a Hunkydory product, which you love because I know, I see the orders. This is a tent fold, and this is a slimline tent. And so you can see that the fold is at the top, and it has a slimline. It's a little bit larger. Our slimlines tend to be 3.5 by 8. This is, I believe, 4 by 8, so just a little bit different. And what she has done is she first took her blank card and put it on the craft mat, and then she colored the edges, and she did that with the blueberry ink pad and of course the blending tool. So you're just going to place this on the craft mat and just go right along the edges. You're going to go, I would say, about a ½ an inch or so into the card all the way around, and that's just going to give the color that is in this collection. So that's going to work nicely. Then she has done a couple of things, so let me show you. And I'll go first to the, actually I'm going to go to the cutout section because this border is what she has used in the center. So going to just cut that out and just glue it in the center. That takes care of it. And I think that's the only thing that this time we are using from this sheet. So lots of other things there. Then she took the foiled piece, which is always so much fun, and these are, they really almost pop out by themselves. So this little one with the bicycle and the basket of flowers, which never gets old, that has been foam taped along the bottom. I guess I'm going to switch that direction. You might want to just go ahead and foam tape this at the bottom before you do that strip. That way you're not going to be surprised by not having enough space down here. So, okay, so reverse that, pop this out, and foam tape it in place. So that will work. Then do your border, cut that out. Then she has done something else, and she took the doilies, which for some reason I do not see right here. I'm sorry. Well, you know what the doilies look like. Very clever. She took the paper doily. They're 4 inches wide, and I think you get 20 in the package, so that's kind of nice. And she crumbled it up, and then she put it flat onto her craft mat. And then she took the same blueberry ink pad and just dabbed over the top. That way, all of the mountain fold, if you will, pieces will get inked, and the valley fold ones, the ones that were not crumpled as much, will not get it. And so you get this lovely distressed look, all with the same color of ink pad, which is going to match everything. Now, the From Me to You, well, that is on that same sheet right here. Always nice to have some of these greetings included in the foil die cuts, and that has been foam taped onto the top of the doily. One thing about the doily, you really don't have to attach all of it, just that center part, which is a solid piece. So that just makes it easier. Okay, and then foam tape this on top. Now she has added, and I'm not sure that you can see it there, so we might need to get in really close. She has added some purple jewel dazzles. I'm not sure you can see that. Maybe you can see some of it. Okay, so that is the one. You know, we have 540 pieces on the full sheet, and these are they have silver foiling on the edge, so really pretty. And then she used her trusty Hunkydory bow maker with the purple. I thought that was an interesting choice. The purple ribbon set, and made a little bow with the gingham and zotted it in place. So it's right above the little bicycle. Okay, now let's go to the inside. And I really like what she did here. So you're going to do the same thing, except first, you're going to take this insert. Remember, I said all those inserts that you get 2 of each. And I thought it was really smart of her to see this big piece and not go, no, I can't use it. It's not going to fit. Well, it's okay to cut it off. That's a really nice design element. You can see it's going to need to be trimmed a little bit at the top. And the measurements, by the way, are all down below. Just click on the card and you'll see the written instructions. So she trimmed that to fit inside her card. So you'll notice she trimmed part out of the back and part off the front, glued it in place, and then went back with the same trusty blending tool, and in this case, blueberry ink pad, and did more of the inking. You can see that she went a little bit further on the top area, maybe a little bit less on the bottom, but wanted to get not only the card, but onto the insert. Okay, then she has done a couple of things. So this is the rest of that cutout bow, or excuse me, border that she did on the front. So that uses that. And then on that same sheet, remember I said I didn't think you were going to use it again, but perhaps I was wrong. So she did use this one. You Are Very Special to Me. And she's got it pointing to that basket of flowers where she put another bow tied with the bow maker. And those purple jewel dazzles are kind of all in along the butterflies, the flowers, and the corners. So that takes care of our first card. By the way, in those tent cards, you do get the envelopes to go with the cards, so that just makes it so much easier. Now, this second card is also from that same pack, and here it is. And this is using a little bit more of the cutout. So what she has done is she first took this plaid. Now, remember, you get 3 of each of the cutout sheets, so that's nice. She is going to use some of the top, but you've got that same background sheet on the back of it. So she cut a piece of that, and then she matted it on the Miri. And this is obviously the gold Miri, and that has just about an eighth of an inch, maybe an eighth of an inch border. So that was nice. Now, this wood is also part of the collection, and there it is. It's on the back side of this. So that's going to work out. So you can use that. You know, wood works really well with so many things. So then it was matted again on the wood, and that just took care of it. And then you're going to glue it to your card front. And this is our regular 5 by 6.5 inch card. Now, in this case, we're going to do a couple of different things. So there is a border, and it is on this sheet. And so this border is going to get trimmed, and it's going to get glued right down here. And you'll notice that we're going to place this piece just on top of it, obviously, but also so that the rim of it, which is up here, is a little bit higher. We want to fill this space. So what she did is just like a regular paper towel or decoupage, in that she cut out the layers and foam taped them over the matching art. So in this case, what she did was first to cut this one out. When you are cutting, by the way, just in case, I learned this from the Fiskars folks, who are the scissor people, is it's easier if you use a small blade scissors. So these are just about, I don't even know if that's 2 inches. And these are our EK Success Precision scissors. Another thing is to cut out the piece before you start cutting into it. So just to, we call this whacking it out. That might be a technical term. You might want to make a note of it. So you just whack that out. Nothing particular about it. And then when you go to do it, if you will hold your scissors straight and move the paper, and that's going to be hard to do if you're not used to it, but it does work. So I'm going to hold my scissors straight, and I'm going to cut. And you can choose how much of that white border you want to leave, or if you don't want to leave any of it, that's your choice. But you see how that just smoothly goes through. And so just, you know, just a tip in case that wasn't something that you knew about. We like to give you all the information here at Paper Wishes. So anyway, I can stop doing this right now. So she cut out that first one using the scissors and glued it down. Then she cut, let me show you, this next one that has the, just is showing the top flowers and the rim of the container, and foam taped that. And then she went into these and glued that on top. Now in this case, she trimmed off the pansies, the purple pansies, your choice, and then did that on top. So you've got those 3 layers. And she did the same thing on the pots at the bottom. So you've got another one of this little guy, and you have another one of this guy, and you have 2 more pieces that will coordinate with this. So they're just foam taped on top. Now, you can do as much of that or as little of that as you like, because you could use these on another card. So just so you know, you're not compelled to do it any one way. Now, this little oval is off part of the die cut section, and it is on this one. So lots of love for today and always. That has been foam taped between the flower pots. And then she took advantage of these pennants. Now they say, let love grow. And you can see they even are scored at the top. So she took a piece of jute, and this is the jute collection. So you've got tons and tons of colors to choose from. She chose the orange, and just wrap those around, glue them in place, and then foam tape them along the top of her card. So that worked nicely. Again, the bow maker, and she went into the 1/8 inch ribbons. No, I just lied to you, because the 1/8 inch ribbons does not have an orange one, and she wanted orange. So she went into the orange and peach ribbon pack. So that's where that one came from. Okay, so that completes our card front. Now we're going to go to the inside. The inside is going to use another part of that wood, which you saw. This is bloom where you are planted. This is foam taped, and then this is just glued down. One thing I want to tell you on this wood, and I'm not sure if you can see it on camera. Yeah, there you can. But she matted the top part of it onto the gold mirror. and just to give that a bit of a shine to match the foiling that's been done. This piece, and this is something that is unique, I think, to this collection. What she has and what Hunkydory often does is that these are nested, meaning that this is coordinating with the frame on the outside. So what she did is she took the frame and glued it flat. She foam taped the centerpiece, and so there's a little bit of dimension. And this Homegrown for You is glued on this side and foam taped on this side just to keep that going. Now, this bow, which she chose to do the green, is out of the 1/8 inch ribbon collection. So there are 3 ribbon collections in this one card, but if you already have them, that's just fine. And you could use jute for all of 3 of the pieces if you wanted to. So just, you know, do what you want because you're going to anyway. So and that's just perfectly fine and what we want. Okay, now we're going to move into the Peacock Paradise. It's the same thing where you're going to get foiled pieces. In fact, let me show them to you. Again, you're going to get 2 of each. So this is all about colorful peacocks. There are the foiled die cut, and there is the more peacocks. Different kinds of peacocks. See how much they're just so easy to pull apart. And this one, you're going to get 2 of each, as I've said now 4 times. And here is another. We're going to be using that in a card. And here's another one that we're going to be using in a card. So lots of different colors. The inserts are a couple of different kinds. Again, these are to go inside the card, so like that. And you've got also inserts that are, again, ghosted image that are going to go with all of the other items. And these are single-sided. There's another. And another, and these are paper. And additional, this is one that we're going to be using. And here is another. Let's see. Now we're going to go into the cutouts or paper. So you can see that these are meant to be cut out, but on the back side are the patterns, so you can use them either way. These are double-sided. You get 3 of each of these, and then there are a couple more, which is this with cutouts and this. So lots of options. Again, this has 250 individual crafty elements. The first one, Cottage Garden, has 300. So you've got a lot of things to play with, and that's what we like. Now, before I show you the product that Heidi used, I want to show you how she created this card. You can see it has a very unusual opening, super easy to do. So we'll just take our 5 by 6.5 inch card, and I'm going to lay it flat. So the score line is in the middle. Now, I'm going to put it on the scoreboard because that's what I use, but you can do it on anything that you use to do scoring. I'm going to measure 2.5 inches in. Because this is 5 inches, that's exactly half of it. So 1, 2.5, and I'm going to draw a score line just like that. Then I'm going to turn it around and do the exact same thing on the other side, just like this. So this is becoming a gatefold card, which is exactly what Heidi has done. So I'm just going to fold those in. And the one thing on the gatefold, you just want to make sure that those 2 pieces do not overlap, that they just meet in the middle. And of course, it's always a good idea to burnish that fold just like so. Okay, now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to measure halfway up. So this is 6.5, so that's going to be 3 1/4. And we're going to draw a line there. Same thing on the other side. Now, let me bring in the card because that will demonstrate this better. So then you're going to remove the top half on the right-hand side and the bottom half on the left-hand side. Those 2 pieces are going to go away. Then that will become the base for our card. Now, let's look at what the products are. The next thing she did is that I'm going to bring these in, and she used this paper, which is on the back side of this one. So this is one of those 3 papers that are included. And she trimmed it they're going to fit on each of the gates, but she also matted them on silver. Now, of course, she chose silver because there's silver foiling on the peacocks, so that works well. And you can see that she made them a little bit smaller than these half gates and glued them. So there is the paper and the silver that has been matted and glued in place there and there. And then she went into this piece, and it's the same idea as the last one, where you've got a frame and a centerpiece. Now, those are two different pieces, but she really handled them as though they were one piece. So this little guy is going to get foam taped to the top left gate. This one, in fact, both pieces of it, is going to get foam taped over to the right gate. Then she took the best wishes, because she wanted to cover up that greeting in the center, and just foam taped it just right here to the right gate. That way you can open this, so that's going to work. Now inside, she covered it with the same paper. Again, you get 3 of those, and simply glued it in place, left a white border. And then this is the insert. And I have to tell you, when I first saw these, it didn't occur to me that, oh, these are 4. I just kind of thought, well, these are clear over to the side. You know, I wonder why. I didn't give it any more thought. But what Heidi discovered is that you can cut them into quarters, and then this is going to work very nicely on the inside of her card. So that was a good thing to find. It also has a little peacock and the happy birthday to you. And then she's also added, again, silver is the shine, is the silver jewel dazzles. And you can see them in the corners with that triple, a big one and 2 tiny ones. And then she also has them on the corners of each of those pieces. So that just worked well. Okay, I've got one more card. And this is another one where she is manipulating our regular card. So you would take this, and this is 6.5 by 5. And in order to create this flap, pretty easy, put the fold at the top, and then measure the center part down here and put a dot. And then take your ruler and draw a line from that dot to the upper right-hand corner, and from the dot to the upper left-hand corner. Simply cut along those lines, and you've released that side piece. Now, she did cover this flap that you were left with the paper, and it is on the back side of this cutout sheet. And so just lay that down, put glue all the way on it, press that down, turn it over, and trim it to fit. That will work perfectly. And she then did something a little different with these. So this has 3 layers. So it's got the outside, it's got a solid silver frame, and then the peacock. She did not use the center frame. She used the outside one, which is attached, as you can see, up here and right down there. And then she foam taped the center piece in the center. So you have that area that is empty, but is shown by the teal paper. So that's nice. She did take 2 of the small pieces and foam tape them. And her accent on these are the crystals that I did. Oh, there they are. Okay. There's these crystals. Now, these are Hunkydories. They are self-adhesive. They are called Crystal Shimmer Sparkles. And these are all clear. But there's several different sizes. There's like 3 different sizes. So she's got one, and I'm not sure that you can see them because they are see-through at each of those and down here. Okay, now inside, she used this paper, which is on the back side of this. Same thing, she used it to cover her card. And by covering the card, it's the same process. Put your adhesive along the edge, and then place your paper right next to the score line, not over it, but right next to it, and kind of even to one edge. Press it down, turn it over, and cut it to fit. And that will work perfectly every time. Now, the sheet that has the teal also has borders on it. This says, just for you, best wishes. And that she cut out and glued down here. And then she foam taped the greeting, which is Hope your day is filled with magical moments and brings endless memories to treasure. That's nice. That's foam taped. 2 more of the big crystals are down here. I'm going to wiggle it just in case that helps you see it. And that took care of this card. So pretty simple, easy to do, and you still have several pieces left and that silver piece that you can use for other projects. So that works nicely. Okay, so we have the Peacock Paradise and we have the Cottage Garden. Now these are called Crafty Stash pads, and so that's something to remember because I'm sure we will be seeing more of those as time goes by. Absolutely love getting things from Hunkydory. And you know what I love about Hunkydory is that they have such a variety of products, and that's just quite a treasure to have. Okay, there is a money saver, big surprise. Over on the right-hand side of your screen, you can get a discount if you choose to buy both of them. And if you are watching this on YouTube, we would hope that you would like us and subscribe. The subscribing boosts our rankings, and we're very interested in that. Then please head on over to paperwishes.com. I think we have the best prices around on Hunkydory, and plus we're going to show you a webisode with ideas on how to use it. I want to thank Heidi for coming up with some very clever ideas, and most of all, I want to thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. Okay, we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.